What's up everyone, welcome back to Beyond AR TV. My name is John and it's time for another episode of The Think Tank. I've had a lot on my mind recently, and one of the things that's popped up time and time again, just out of the blue seemingly, no specific reason, is artist meet and greets. You might recognize a pass like this as something that you pay for, maybe a VIP experience, something that you do or purchase in order to meet your favorite artist or band. And in recent times, I've thought about it more and more just because I've had my own experiences with connecting with artists and bands. I've had opportunities that I'm aware that other people might not have. That's not me patting myself on the back, it's just saying that, hey, I'm kind of in the music industry, so it makes sense that I meet people sometimes. Before we go any further, I just want to say thank you, Vans, for sponsoring this episode. You can see that I'm decked out in my Vans Warped Tour shirt and my Vans hat. Just kidding. I would love for them to sponsor me, but it's not. Okay, reel it in, John. Back on track. Artist meet and greets are kind of relatively new, I would say, in some ways. I don't think they existed in like the 1970s or the 80s, at least not in a mainstream type of way. Meeting somebody behind a paywall is a really weird idea, but also understandable, I suppose. Once a band gets to a certain level, you just can't handle that volume of people, and there's no way to meet everybody in the audience. I've noticed it more and more throughout the 2000s and the 2010s decades, and I think artists are starting to rely heavily on that because streaming doesn't pay what album sales did, and maybe merch sales have dipped in some ways, so people will jump at the opportunity quite often to meet their favorite band or their favorite artist. Now, I myself have actually never paid money to go to a meet and greet. Both of the two that I've actually been to that actually were labeled meet and greets were contests that I won, and I was so ecstatic about the one being Linkin Park. I just truly cherished that. Getting to meet Chester Bennington, Mike Shinoda, Johan, and the rest of the band was a life-altering experience, or just a culmination of things in some ways. And the other was the band Switchfoot, something that I won for their Elizabeth City show in 2014 or 15, I believe. It was on the Fading West tour, and it was a nice experience, but it was very quick. You kind of go up and you say hello to these people that are in the band, and then you take a photo with them. In fact, you don't even take it, it's a professional photographer. And obviously it varies from meet and greet to meet and greet, but the overall idea is that you wait in line for a long time, you say hi briefly, and then you move right along so that the next person can get their photo. Bands like the Maine and an artist like Hoodie Allen have both kind of spoken on the idea of feeling like it's very strange to have to pay to meet another human being. I also can empathize, like I said, with the fact that maybe somebody like Logic or somebody like Blink-182 can't meet every fan out there, so you have to have the VIP upgrade for the people that really want to spend the money, right? If it's their money, then maybe they should spend it on a VIP upgrade to meet a band. From my perspective, I would never personally pay for a meet and greet or to meet an artist in general. It's something that I've been against for probably well over a decade now, since I remember going to concerts in the first place. The first one that I ever really went to was like Hello Goodbye, Down with Webster, and 303, and all of those groups came out after the show, and I met them just at their merch booths, which I thought was so cool at the time. And I think a lot of the reasoning behind me not ever wanting to pay to see somebody in a VIP setting or in such a forced, unnatural setting is because it does feel a bit unnatural. I mean, paying the money and meeting them, that's one thing. And I understand if you're never going to get the opportunity again and you think that you're never going to run into them, take it. It could be the opportunity of a lifetime, something that means so much to you. But from my perspective again, I just feel that I would rather run into them somewhere or meet them through like a mutual friend in the industry, or maybe pull something together like I did with water parks, where we had a Twitter beef and then it worked out that Austin, the lead singer, actually invited myself and my girlfriend to hang out backstage with them at Warped Tour. I have those experiences and I cherish those experiences because they just happened. They came out of the blue. I've had the opportunity to interview bands, and that's always cool, meeting like Dallin Weeks, for example, or members of other groups like Beach House in the past, Church's Lauren Mayberry. I got a photo pass for that show, and I got to go up in that front row, and then Lauren poked her head out for a brief second, and I was like, oh my god, Lauren Mayberry's right there. Oh, hi. And then she said, hi back, and then that was it. But also, it was more of a natural thing because it just happened. I guess that's what I'm getting at there. I'm not saying that it's wrong to pay for a VIP upgrade or something like that, because honestly, if I get to a certain point in my life and there's a few of my idols that maybe I'm just like, okay, I'm never gonna meet them, maybe I would bite the bullet and do it, but I just can't help but feeling like some of my favorites like Green Day, Billy Joe Armstrong, do I want to just meet him because maybe they had a VIP opportunity that I had to pay $500 to get, or would I rather somehow make it happen? Maybe I just run into them at Oakland Coffee, like their coffee shop or whatever that Mike Dern is always promoting. It's something that's in the back of my head, and I think about it quite often just because I always am like, okay, what's the closest I've ever come to meeting this person naturally in real life? Maybe we crossed paths on the highway one time. I was going this way, you were going this way, or maybe we walked by each other and we were at a show or something. I know what happened with me and Brandon Flowers of The Killers, which I'm still upset about because Boston Calling 2018, The Killers were great and everything, but the day of their show, that afternoon, I was just hanging out with my girlfriend downtown Boston, and Brandon Flowers was walking on the exact street that we were, but we were too busy lacing up the new shoes that we had just bought, and there went that opportunity. But again, it would have been natural if it did happen. Maybe I sound a bit jaded, but really underlying it all, I feel it's a glimmer of hope. Like I still think like the child within me, like, oh my god, it would be so cool to meet that person, or if I just happened to run into them, or if I got to interview them, or if I made this connection and somehow I ran into Green Day, or Gerard Way, or other childhood heroes of mine. There's so many bands that I would love to talk to, like Tool, or Between the Buried and Me, Modern Baseball, Damon Albarn of Gorillaz. There's a ton of people that are just so interesting to me. I would love to pick their brains, but also it's like I probably would never meet them unless I paid for VIP if they offered it. So what side of the fence do you stand on when it comes to paying for a VIP upgrade or meeting the band or the artist and paying money for it? Have you ever done it? Do you think it was worth it when you did do it? Was it kind of robotic and forced, or did you have a good interaction? Because I know a lot of people do have great interactions, and so many bands do go above and beyond when people do pay for those VIP upgrades. I would love to know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I hope you enjoyed this episode of The Think Tank, and if you did, then slap a like on it. Sorry for the little hiatus that I took on Beyond AR TV, but I'm back to uploading. Make sure you subscribe if you happen to be new. Ring the bell so you get notified when I upload in the future. You can see another episode of The Think Tank right here, or tap here for another recent video I made on Beyond AR TV. Socials in the description, and I will see you very soon.